Hello everyone, it's Lawrence from Unicorn Reviews here, and I'm going to share some impressions on a new game which is now available on Steam Early Access called Assetto Corsa. It's an Italian developed game, and so yeah, I already made a video with a first look going through the menus and everything. At the time I couldn't get screen capture to work. If you have the same problem, make sure you don't have any conflicting codecs, because I had Riva Tuner conflicting. I was using the same codec twice for some reason and it would crash the game every time. So right now we're driving the KTM Crossbow around Silverstone, Silverstone National I think, or International. It's a short version of the track. And so yeah, I'm just going to go into physics. I'm already going to say I'm not a professional racing driver and I haven't driven any car that's in this video, but I know I have some idea of what it should feel like. So one of the great things I can say already is that it's quite harsh on you on downshifting, and I use this game without any assists except for the ones that are in the real car, because the game knows what assists are in the real car and it will set them in the game as well. Same for steering lock and shifter. So if the car has a sequential shifter, you have a sequential shifter connected to your computer, it will work as a sequential shifter. This car has the H shifter, so I had to use the H shifter on my rig. If you drive a car with flappy pedal gearbox, you have to use the flappy pedals on your steering wheel. It's really great. If you have a car which you can't turn the ABS off, the ABS will be on in the game. So they've done that, those realistic driving assists. That's a main aspect of the new games with Assetto Corsa and Project Cars. And that's a really good feature because you kind of need to have that nowadays. Graphics, I'm actually gonna do graphics at the end, and I'm also gonna go through specs, system specs in the end, because this is mostly about physics. Something I really like is the physics with the crossbow. Some cars do feel a lot better than others, but this car it's a really light car. And as you can see right there, when you downshift, it does really lighten up the rear, but under every other part of your braking, you can just feel those front wheels slipping away ever so slightly. Just the car wanting to understeer, which is quite the same as in real life. And again, I'm not a professional racing driver, but from the cars I've driven, they all do that, except for front-wheel drive cars. And in the game, front-wheel drive cars also don't have it, so because the weight is all on the front wheels then. So yeah, this game mode here is a time attack, and it's one of the old arcade games where you start with an amount of time, and as you go through you get added time and you get points, and it's pretty much just about getting most points and being first on the leaderboards really. But I have to say, not a lot of people are playing at the moment, so every time I drove I'm first on the leaderboards, and as you can see from my laps, they're not that brilliant. Kind of makes me feel good about myself. Anyway, the shifting, as I show right here, sometimes when you don't use your clutch properly, the car actually won't go into gear, and you get this rebelling noise like you get when you try to shift but you're not pressing your clutch. The game also does that pretty well. Something I do have to say, more a bit of a negative, which is track grip. To me it feels like the car has the same amount of grip everywhere on the track. Like right here, when you go on the curb, it does, going on a curb does decrease grip, but on the track itself, it's not like the groove, the black line, or the darker line where all the rubber is, doesn't necessarily feel more grippy than other parts of the track. Maybe it's not, they have that in there, but it's not exaggerated too much. But that's something I would like to see a bit more of. Different grip levels around the track makes it a bit harder, because the game is quite easy, despite me going off every time and losing the rear because of the shifting. I mean, I'm not really used to driving with a clutch and a H shifter on racetracks. So, it's pretty tricky. Anything else I have to say about this specific car and track combination? The sky is incredibly bright, and I know England isn't most sunny climate out there, but on a sunny day it should be quite right. So this is the replay. As you could just see, there's smoke, but it's not amazing smoke. So the game comes with 7 camera standpoints at the moment. So this is static camera, which is number 7, so it's just a camera, it won't move. You also have camera 6, which is a TV cam. You have 5, which is another TV cam. You get the bumper cam, the bonnet cam, the chase far, and of course cockpit view. I mostly use cockpit view, but I know a lot of you will probably use the far camera. Another thing about it is when you go onto the grass at times feels grippier than it should actually. So this is the Bmw M3 around Imola, in Italia, of course. I mean, it's an Italian game, so it has a lot of Ferrari and Fiat support as well as Italian tracks. With the M3, I think physics-wise they did go with a bit too much body roll, like the suspension being too soft. Again, I haven't driven this car in real life, but I have driven a more normal model, the 335 convertible, and even that car doesn't have this amount of body roll. So that's it's a bit too much, you know. Another thing, again here at Imola, the colors are too vibrant for me. I don't really think the skies actually hurt your eyes just on a normal day. I think game time was set at around 10 o'clock, so that's not that bright. As you can see then, when you go off track, you get this timeout thingy, so you have to wait for 5 seconds where your throttle just won't work, and you can stop that by braking and going under 50 kilometers an hour, which is a cool feature. Project Cars also has it, but Project Cars won't allow you to turn it off by going under 50. It just shuts down your throttle for 5 seconds. Right here, this is a great example of how there's different grip on different surfaces, and they do have that right. So if you go on the AstroTurf or on the concrete instead of the tarmac or asphalt, there's completely different grip levels. So like the darker green stuff here, there's still grip on there and you can use it in some corners, but you know, the game obviously doesn't want you to use it every time, which is something you get with other games like Forza. I remember from the Forzas I've played, which is pretty much every single one of them, there's incredible grip on those things, and on it almost wants you to abuse track limits, and this game is pretty serious about keeping you on track. Something I demonstrate here, because I didn't actually do this accidentally. In real life, when a car starts to slide a bit, it's pretty easy to catch it, but it's even easier to correct too much, and the game pretty much shows this as well. And that's of course wheel related, and the cheaper your wheel is, the worse it will be with correcting too much. My G27, I have to admit, is not incredibly fast at showing like what's happening in real life and translating that. And in the previous video where I showed my wheel and the wheel in the game, you can see there's a tiny bit of input lag, which is of course quite annoying. And don't mind me crashing here. Oh, I'm gonna crash in the next corner, I think. At because this was Curva Grande, I think I crashed in Lesmo 1. But don't mind that. Another thing they did, and this is a brilliant thing, to prevent input lag, concerning the shifting part of the game. I mean, in a lot of games you shift and you already press the button and then you see the hand move. in this game, when you go high into your RPMs, and here's a giant straight, so it'll show. When you go into high RPMs, the hand already moves towards the shifter. And then, of course, when you shift, it does that at almost the perfect moment. So that's a really great thing. And right here, I completely forgot that cars back in the day didn't have 6 gears. This is where Ascari is now. This is a Monza in 1966. Seems to be rather popular, those older tracks. Project Cars also has like old Hockenheim, old Spa, old Le Mans. No, yeah, it does. No, it doesn't. I don't know. So yeah, this is just a crash. You could really see the grass on the tires. I would have liked to see more grass flying through the air, but again, the game isn't finished. So these are just quick impressions I have. Here I crossed the white line, exiting the pit lane, which should normally result in a drive-through. The game doesn't really give that because I'm alone on track. I don't know because there's no racing yet. It's only you on the track, no AI at the moment. So maybe that will come later on. So yeah, driving the 458 Italia. Really cool feature is when you change the exterior color, it also changes the color of the stitching, which is, you know, what it's like in real life. A lot of games forget that because, you know, you have to create. Well, you have 2 options: either you create extra models, or you have to go with the stitching has to be a specific new way of modeling stuff, and you change that according to the exterior color. That's a pretty cool feature. Here is again the stuff next to the asphalt, the AstroTurf not quite being as grippy. The 458, I've read some people say that it's not at all good to drive it, but I think it's pretty good because you have to remember it's a street car and it won't have massive amounts of grip. And yesterday when I drove it, it did actually feel like crap, to be honest. But that was because I was looking on a camera screen, not my monitor, because I couldn't figure out how to record my screen. Right now, the car does feel pretty good. And this car as well, I've driven it around the Nürburgring back in Forza Motorsport 4 quite a lot. Even got quite a lot of views on there on another YouTube channel, but the car does feel pretty good. I mean, it does feel a bit easy to me. I don't imagine a car with what is it, 560 horsepower or something drives this easy in real life. The only assist that is on at the moment is the EDL light, which you can see flashing at times, which is automatic throttle blimp, and the brakes. And no, the brakes, that's just ABS. And for those of you who don't know what automatic throttle blimp is, some cars in real life, and I think it was the Nissan 370Z that started it, has this feature where if you downshift, the car will actually heel and toe for you. So it will actually, under braking, give some throttle to the engine so that the revs sync to the gear you are going to. Back in the day you had to do heel and toe for that. New cars seem to have that as a piece of software built into their ECU. And I was too slow here, sorry. So that was the setup screen, and you could change tire pressures. You know, you saw everything that was in there really. I just lowered the fuel a bit. This is Autodromo di Umbria, I think. I've already shown all of this on my previous video, and I'll link to that video in the description box thingy. But you can set all those user interface thingies yourself, and you can place them where you want. You can even put 2 of them on top of each other if you really want to hurt your eyes. And at this point I'm going to go into graphics of the game. Now, I used to be a giant Forza Motorsport player. This game does beat Forza Motorsport graphically, at least the 4. I don't know about 5 because I won't buy an Xbox One. Not just because the naming sucks, but you know, I'm a PC gamer now. Anyway, it does beat Forza Motorsport 4, which is only normal. but it's nowhere near what Project Cars is doing. It also beats F1. Actually, it's quite similar to the new F1 game, but it's nowhere near Project Cars graphically. Then again, nothing is nowhere near Project Cars graphically. Physics are also not quite as good yet, I think. But you know, it's early access. So the graphics, I feel like there's too vibrant colors in this game. Something I don't really like. The track surface is, you don't really see the roughness of the tarmac, which Project Cars does brilliantly. Forza Motorsport is, you know, every piece of asphalt looks the same in Forza. This game, I mean, I said it does beat console games, so I'm gonna go back to the replay because my video is almost ending. I'm recording the voice afterwards. So as you can see, the lines on the track, it's like they didn't use enough polygons to really make it work. Now, of course, that means it's going to be easier to run, because me with a graphics card that's only 150 euros at the moment, I can run this maxed out easily. The recording does seem a bit laggy though, but that was probably because my hard drive wasn't fast enough to record it, because I record uncompressed to save on CPU stuff. The curbs, you know, they look good, but you don't really get this tessellation really. It's not like you can really see that the curbs are 3D objects. Same with the grass, everything looks a bit flat to me. I mean, at the moment it's still the best looking game you can buy, racing game, but it's not, it doesn't have that extra bit, you know. That was a little drift there, because again I downshifted too early. But that was pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching, and put all your comments in the comment area.